So straight off the bat, yes, I did enjoy this chapter. However, the first biggest thing I want to point out regarding the clowns in general over the past couple of chapters have been very disappointing for me. I know I'm going to get witch hunted, I'm going to get picked apart by your vultures, but for me, the clowns have been some of the most underdeveloped, most underwhelming characters as well as group in the entirety of the story. What made the clowns so vibrant and, riddled with mystery and fear factor that they kind of protruded throughout the entirety of the story has almost been nullified to zero with the clarification of Uta, which, mind you, was not anything special in terms of development. It was more so clarification, as well as Renji Yomo, and that situation itself with me was just subpar. That's just my opinion. And then in this chapter with Donato and Armon's situation, it was emotional, and I thought the emotional route was a good way to go, but Donato has just been handed the biggest L in the entirety of the story. For what we know as a character, we still know nothing about him. He's literally just been a fruitless character throughout the entirety of the story. So when you have this mystery surrounding these characters, right, when you use them as a propelling point for characters, arcs, etc., when they play such symbolic meaning towards everything, towards the whole world of the story, to have them belittled by literally like a 2-chapter fight is, in my opinion, insane. Like, there is so much more Ishida could have done with Donato as a character. Armon and Donato's situation could have been taken completely to the next level, and it would have been a lot more emotional in terms of like the ending that Ishida had pictured out, but the journey to it I thought was just null and void. Like, I did not care for Donato's little, crying spew at the end of it. Even Armon's was a little bit shaky, you know what I mean? Like, there's realistically been nothing for Armon's kind of love for Donato, or even just for him as a character in general. But now, after everything that's happened, Armon's just this emotional train wreck, and I'm like, where is this? Where has this been throughout the entirety of the story? Like, I guess we've seen little snippets of it, but the funny thing about that is that we don't understand that reception. We don't understand the concept of Armon, appreciating Donato like a father figure. Like, Armon knew the evilness that surrounded Donato, but we don't, because all we know is that, the children that Donato raised, he killed them all, he ate them all. That's a fucked up thing to do. Do we ever get clarification for that? We don't. Do we ever get some emotional connection between Donato and Armon? Realistically, we don't. And then in this chapter, Ishida plays it off like, it's this big emotional train wreck that's been coming for a very long time, this big reunion, and it ultimately gets washed out completely, in my opinion, from Donato just being like this lackluster character. Something that has been built quite evidently high in the background and then just crumbles, just completely disappears, which for me is really unfortunate. I feel like the rushing of these chapters and just pulling everything that could have made these characters extremely well developed or extremely impactful to other characters, but ultimately they fall extremely flat. The Uta and Renji fight for me fell extremely flat. There was no real big emphasis on Uta's character at all. When you come from a character that's so mysterious to suddenly in the same chapter, realizing what he is doing and having this common connection with Renji, it's fickle. It's very fickle in my opinion, but the same thing happens with Donato. And yes, I'm gonna get fucking slandered for it, but I mean, at the end of the day, I just wasn't feeling this Donato stuff. I like the emotion, I like the effort that was put behind it. I just felt like it could have been done extremely better. It could have been extremely more emotional in that instance. I just think the little we have seen on Armon doesn't reciprocate the emotion that we got, but that's just me. I guess we'll see how you guys feel as well. So the rest of the chapter focuses on KANEKI and FURUTA, but I don't think people, including myself, expected the fight to break out so soon. If anything, we thought there was going to be some sort of discussion between both characters, just to hopefully give us more clarification, a little bit more development regarding what's going on at the moment, regarding where KANEKI is and what FURUTA is trying to specifically do, but we just jumped straight into a fight, basically. The interaction between the two is really good, actually, because you get a decent picture of what KANEKI is somewhat like as a character now. Like, he is not out of control, he's not insane or anything like that, he's just, his care factor is just completely gone. Like, he knows what he has to do at this point. Like, he's not fucking around, he's just attacking whenever he gets the chance, and he's trying to obliterate FURUTA, and that's cool. I like that. Unfortunately, it kind of overshadows the development that I guess FURUTA is trying to push through the story in the form of the conversation that he's having, but it's well received to that extent. I think it balances out somewhat well. It's more so KANEKI just taking the initiative and really not giving a fuck at this point, with FURUTA, being FURUTA at the end of the day and just running around screaming his head off, being goofy as hell, which, is a nice change of pace for such a serious moment in this chapter, for such a big, reveal of KANEKI's abilities to an extent, as well as FURUTA's abilities, which I'll get onto in a sec. It's nice nice that Furuta's keeping this consistency of just like this multiplex character. Like at one point he's like super analytical, the next point he's like super goofy, and then the next point he's like super evil and mysterious. And I think that specifically carried this chapter really well. I think it saved the chapter in my opinion. But regarding Furuta's powers, the panel that Furuta, I guess, released his Kagane, which for some reason came out the wall and not actually his back, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on. I think that's going to be a big question for a lot of people, like, oh, was that Furuta's Kagane or was that something else entirely? Because these things were massive. Like, they're not just going to protrude out of his back, obviously, so, you know, they're coming out of the wall now. Did he plant them there? Like, I don't know, did he push it underground and then come back out through the wall? I don't know. But his mask is off at the moment, so that should elevate to something interesting as well. The thing with that panel, right, very Berserk-esque, mind you, as well. There was a lot of black, and the angle itself just reminded me of Berserk entirely, but it was a really well done panel. And straight after that, you get this grim image, like, of Furuta, just this psychotic image of him being like, you know, I'm stronger than I look, or something like that. And I'm just like, okay, show us what you're capable of. You know, you've been this character that's been teased to have a bit of power. You know, you've gone up against such prolific people in the past, which we haven't realistically seen all too much of. Are we finally about to see the true power of Furuta? Are we about to see what he is actually capable of to that extent? And if this Kagane that has just smashed throughout the wall at this massive caliber is actually his, he's going to be a massive threat to deal with, right? But my question is how? If Furuta is as powerful as we think he could be, how is he this powerful? Has he gone through a development phase that we haven't seen yet, similar to KANEKI? Because if you look at KANEKI's situation, right, you look at the abilities he has, the crazy regeneration, you'd think that KANEKI would not lose to Furuta to any extent. It'd be such a one-sided battle. But when you just look at the abilities that Furuta potentially smashed out of the wall, that's some next level shit. And I'm thinking, like, is there stuff here that we missed? Furuta's going on talking about kings being a whole different breed. Like, what are you? Here you are going toe to toe with powerful kings. Like, you yourself are basically considered a king at this point in terms of, you know, power capability. How far does this fight truly go is another big question I have. Because at the end of the chapter, KANEKI's not holding back. You know, we got the infamous finger crack and shit's about to get real. So where do we go from here? Do we see, you know, a big, massive fight between these two crazy characters that we've been waiting for so goddamn long? Do we see something come into the situation like Rize, or do we see the evident quote-unquote end zone or the ending point for said dragon? You know, the harvest that Donato was talking about. Actually, before I completely nullify Donato's character in my head, I do want to give him props to actually kind of pushing the agenda of Dragon a little bit more throughout the first half of the chapter. He was talking about the harvest and I guess the character that he was playing specifically, and how he was just pure evil in himself, and you know, he won't be able to see the ending of this harvest. I appreciated that to an extent when he was self-reflecting on himself. I just thought his overall development as a character was rather lackluster. If that's going to stop me from getting witch hunted in the comments, yay, but I feel like it's not. I am excited to see where this KANEKI and Furuta situation goes, right? Because at this point we've cleared the clowns, and the whole purpose of them were buying time. The monster should evidently be destroyed as well. So at this point, the V organization are kind of just dead in the water unless they obviously go on the attack and try and versus CCG and ghouls remaining in that area. I think we're slowly getting to the answer that we've been wanting for a very long time now. Like, what were the clowns buying time for? What were the V organization buying time for? I still think it's specifically Rize being created and quote unquote completed, but obviously that has yet to be seen. I am very excited. You know, I'm hoping that Ishida does not rush this fight. I'm hoping that there is development through this fight for the story at this point, as well as give us a lot more clarification on Furuta. Like, why is he so powerful if this is his abilities coming out of this wall? Like, what's going on here? So in my opinion, the first half of the chapter, you know, it wasn't too bad. You know, I'd call it average at best. I didn't necessarily like Donato's ending, but whatever, that's just me. The second half of the chapter carried it for me. I'm hoping Ishida handles this upcoming fight extremely well, and that's all I can pray for at this point. It's looking to be a big thing. We haven't seen KANEKI in action for, you know, a good bit now, and this is a good time to showcase his abilities. This is a good time to showcase Furuta's abilities, as well as kind of push the story and give us a lot more clarification on what Furuta is trying to do, why he is so powerful, his motives, Rize being reborn, like the connection between KANEKI and Rize, and just give us a lot more development to work with to help us understand what's going on, the caliber of everything. Because I think at this point, with the clowns disappearing and the timing and everything, we're slowly coming to the conclusion of everything, and something's about to be born. I think realistically that's going to be Rize being being completed. So I guess we'll wait and see. So that's basically it. Let me know what you guys thought of the chapter. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you like the Donato stuff? That's an interesting one because I want to see how people react to the Donato and Armon situation, and I guess how they feel about it. And are you excited for this upcoming fight between Kaneki and FURUTA? So with that being said, I'm actually going to end the video here. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe. I really appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.